So my advice for somebody who is looking to sell your company, in all reality, you need to start that process 3 to 5 years before you actually sell. And the reason why is you need to make all of your systems, all of your processes as efficient as humanly possible. You need to squeeze every ounce of profit out of your business so that you show that it can be highly, highly profitable. Because what usually happens in business is that somebody realizes they're ready to sell. And for years and years, part of their strategy, their tax strategy, so to speak, is that they ran their business at close to break even as possible, or at least on paper. They took lots of deductions. Maybe they hid some stuff and they ran some of their personal expenses through business or whatever. And they were running at close to break even, so they didn't have to pay very much in taxes. Well, what that does from an evaluation standpoint is it says that your business sucks and that it doesn't make very much money, or that maybe it is highly mismanaged, or maybe you're overspending, or there's a whole bunch of different things. But when year after year after year, you're maybe showing a 4% or 5% profit, or hey, I've seen them as low as 2% profit before, because they were trying to run it at a break even. Well, when it comes time to sell, on paper, your business is not really worth anything. Your EBITDA multiples are nothing, because there's nothing to multiply against. There is no profit in your business. And then when I've gone to that owner and I've had to break their heart and tell them, I'm sorry, but either you're going to have to come down significantly on your purchase price, or you're just going to have to give it the old Viking funeral and shut it down, because I'm not going to pay you what you're asking, because your business is not worth it. If I go to my bank and I tell them, hey, I want to pay $500,000 for this business that's doing $500,000, they're going to laugh at me, because your business isn't worth that. And I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but it's not. Now let's be realistic here. What is your $500,000 business worth? Well, if you were making a 20% profit, and let's say that most of your equipment is in good standing and I don't have to replace it from day one, I might be willing to pay somewhere in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. But I'm not going to give you dollar for dollar on your particular business. Now, with that being said, some businesses do demand dollar for dollar purchases. When you get into something like fertilization and weed control or pest control, those do demand dollar for dollar. You have $1 million business, it's going to demand $1 million purchase price. Simply because the net profit that those spit off is so insanely much that business is worth what you're asking, or could potentially be worth more than what you're asking, because you were just naive and didn't know. And the reason why you want to give it 3 to 5 years, so that you can prepare and show that your business continually, year after year after year, is spinning off a good amount of net profit. Like I was saying before, typically what happens is that most business owners, they wake up, realize they want to sell, they've had such slim margins for so many years, then suddenly they want to sell it, but their business has made no profit for so many years, and then somebody comes and makes them an offer, and quite frankly, it's insulting. And I've insulted people more than once on their business evaluation, simply because I wanted to wake them up and I wanted them to realize that their business wasn't worth anything, because they screwed up and they have not showed the profit that this business can put off, so that The buyer can go and get a loan from a bank, because let's face it, not everybody has the cash to be able to shell out to buy a business. But if you can leverage your assets and then go and make the purchase, then it makes sense. But if your business continually year after year shows no profit, when I go to the bank and I make the argument to the bank that, hey, this is a really good business, I promise you should trust me, they're not going to look at that. They're going to look at the numbers and be like, sorry, Marvin, the numbers don't say that. The numbers say that this business is dying. And quite frankly, he needs to shut it down because it's barely spinning off a profit at best. So if you back up 3 to 5 years, you can show a history that your business is profitable. And yeah, maybe 5 years out, it's maybe only making 10% profit because of your previous tax strategies. And then 4 years out, you've made it a little more efficient. You got it up to 14% profit. And 3 years out, you're at 18% profit. 2 years out, you're at 20%. And a year out, you're at 23% or 25%. Well, you're showing a history that this business is profitable and it's in an upward trend. And so if history continues to repeat itself, that means that your business is growing and that it's a safe bet for a bank to go and loan against. But if you show the opposite, maybe you were a really successful business at one point in time. Maybe you got disinterested, or maybe you went through a divorce, or maybe just life kicked you in the butt and you're just tired. And you start to have a decline in your business. And maybe you rock along a little bit for, just status quo for a couple of years, and then it trickles down a little more and a little more. Well, what that shows is that your business is shrinking and dying. And then when a bank goes to evaluate it, they're not going to loan very much. They'll basically loan the assets of the business, and that's it. There's no profit, there's nothing to loan against for the blue sky or the intangibles of the business, because your business, in all reality, is dying. So that's why you need to back up 3 to 5 years in preparation for selling, so that your business has a proper foundation, so that you can turn it over to the buyer and say, hey, this is why I want top dollar for my company. Because you know what? I have the proof that my company is doing very well and it continues to grow year after year. And here's my proof. Give me your money. One of the biggest pitfalls that I see in business owners when they go to sell their business is impatience. They're ready to sell now. They're not willing to wait and go through the negotiation process, or they're not willing to put the time and effort into making sure that the business is as profitable as it possibly can be, so that they can pull top dollar from their evaluation and be able to get the money that they want or the money that they're demanding. So when they get impatient, what that does is that tells the buyer, hey, you're going to get a better deal. And then the price goes down and down and down. Because the faster you want your money, the worse deal you're going to get.